Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I hope everybody's doing very well this morning. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, graduation is done. Yesterday was a very, very long day, so I appreciate you all being patient while we took care of Bifrost graduation. It's been a rough couple weeks, but it's done. We're through it, and she is getting ready for phase
Congratulations,
two.
Bifrost.
Yeah, she's glad it's done, but she's like, I'm tired. I want to sleep. I'm like, go for it. Do it. Me, good morning. Mike Noodle. How you doing, bud? Good to see you. Eric, as always, thank you so much for being here. Paula, thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Hope you guys are doing well. And that's exactly what I told her, me. You're just getting started, sweetheart. We got a long way to go.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like now we
She's
need
gonna
to
miss.
talk about.
She'll miss it one day.
You know what's funny? And
She'll
she's
miss
like,
it one day.
"Do you miss high school?" I'm like, "No, not at all." Um, I don't.
Did you ever though?
No,
Like,
no. When I got out of school, I
really?
was happy to be done. Yeah, like there was nothing about school. But I moved a lot, and I was one of
Yeah.
these people that I was more worried about what I wanted to do instead of. I wasn't a very big socialite. Um, I just didn't care for it much. School was one of those things. Now, what I enjoyed was going back to school later,
Of
years
course
later,
you
going back to
did.
college. That was because then I understood why I was
Yeah.
there, right? Like I'm here for a
Yeah.
reason. That's what I wanted to do.
That's my regret.
Yeah.
Is that I wasted my time while I was in school.
Yeah. And so looking
I
back,
think people should wait between high school and college a couple years. I don't know.
yeah, and
Maybe
I
you should
did. I
wait
mean,
for them.
I took time, joined the
Yeah,
Navy, seen the world, came
probably.
back. Unfortunately suffered some issues with lungs and had to change the way I was doing things. And
Some
um,
issues.
yeah, issues. When
Yeah,
I
you
come,
had some pretty major stuff.
yeah, but when I when I came back and I was like, well, what do I actually want to do? Because I couldn't work in the field I was trained in. Um, I went. I wish I would have done a little bit more in high school. Like really
Yeah.
understood the importance of it. However, it was college that I enjoyed because I enjoyed conversing with people who like knew how to explain stuff. It was
Yeah.
there was a reason that I was there, and that was like holy smokes, totally different environment. Morning, Tiger. How you doing? Joe McBride,
Good
AZ
morning,
Coins. Good morning.
everybody. Good morning,
Hope you were
Joe.
well. Siren, thank you so much for modding. I appreciate all the work you do.
Mm.
All right. So I've got this
Something about
multi-stream thing going on, and it's all crazy colors on my screen. So if I don't see you, you're probably mixed in the blend of this. I like they do this, but they do different colors showing which stream you're coming from. And so I've got purple and green and blue and
Oh,
orange and yellow, and it's like what the holy, which one is this?
it's
So
sherbert.
yeah, it's nice. It's very pretty. I can share my screen with you and show you, but
Morning, siren.
yeah, I like the way they do this. It makes it way easier, except you only see one invite now and two streams occur. So it's much easier. All right. Well, the first thing that I want to do is I want to talk about the short that I did. So I want to pull up this image right here. All right. So we talked about the 1914D, and that was, if you didn't see the short, we were talking about mint mark placement. And last week, when I put up a short, uh, Paula said that was lovely. I'm glad that everybody picked up on the fact that it was not the Jefferson dime. Um,
That was hysterical.
yeah. So I was like, you know what? I can actually play on that and do something kind of the same item. And I found this graphic. Now, when I did this, I took the 1914 D that I just picked up from Kevin from Copper Coin or Coins Making Sense, and I wanted to look at the mint mark placement and say, you know, which one is this? And I found this graphic. Now, I have been dealing with Chuck and Paula for a year and a half now. And I saw this graphic and I was like,
Too long.
Too long. That's funny. And I saw this graphic and went, well, you know what? This is an opportunity to do some teaching. This is an opportunity to help people become learned. And so I did the 1914D and I pulled out this particular one and I put it up there. And when you hear, and you'll hear this from Mike, and Mike's probably curling in his shoes right now, looking at this going, that's not right. It's important, even if you have a trusted source, to go back and do some research and look, okay? I want you guys double checking my stuff. I want you guys double checking what I say. Paula does this all the time with me. Chuck does it. Eric does it, right? I do need it.
No, I'm just teasing.
No, no, I'm not. That is a true statement, right? We all need to have people in our life. Jack is also twitching. Yeah, exactly. So why would I say that these guys are twitching? Well, because if you look at this, it states that there are 6 different markers, 6 different locations for this mint mark placement, and that's not right. And if you do a simple Google search and you look up some of the respected sites, you will see that they state quite clearly that there are only 4. Well, I knew that, and I pulled this up, and Paula sent me a message saying, you know that you're showing 6. And I said, this one's by design. This one's actually, this is a teaching opportunity, and I want people to start looking at something. And she's like, well, Chuck did this graphic. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad you sent me that, because it's this graphic, right? Whoops, where did it go? Hold on. Let me do this again. It's this graphic right here. Oh, it didn't change.
It didn't change.
I got some feedback coming from one of you guys. I can hear you guys. I hear my hear myself in your chat.
Oh, it might be me. Let me move my speaker away from my mic.
Let me share the screen. Hold on. Let me screen. Let me do it this way because it's going to be easier for me to change back and forth. All right, so here we go. So let's zoom this in a little bit. Now this is the same graphic. Now Chuck and Mike and Jack, and they're all probably now starting to breathe. Yeah, Jack is like, I'm starting to shake, Mike. This is something that's very important, and I want you to look at this. There are actually only 4 known pairings for mint mark locations for this. And you'll see here that in this particular one, there are 2 duplicates. You're going to see the upper left and the bottom center, and then you're going to notice the top right and the top center are duplicates. There's actually only 4. Right. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you guys opportunities. Now, when we did the Jefferson dime, one person did say, well, you know, it was a great short other than the fact that you missed the major thing, which was the Jefferson dime. Now, what was funny in that one is that I took that image, didn't even catch that myself. We all make mistakes. We all have things that we overlook. And so I wanted to take this as another opportunity to say it doesn't matter where you go. Now, you can see this particular image on sites where people are, you know, they have their plaques on the walls and they talk about how good they are and they talk about how smart their channel is, and they talk about the importance of everybody who doesn't have 200,000 or 300,000 subscribers should give all their information to them so they can have the greatest impact on the coin world. A couple of you are laughing right now. Others of you were like, what are you talking about? But they got it wrong too. When you go look at the information they have it wrong. In fact, there's another graphic, and I don't have this particular one, where they show one that
5.
has, yeah, Mike Noodle's like, no plaques.
Take a screenshot of this right now, you guys. If you can, take a screenshot of this.
Yeah. So why is this important? Well, it's important.
And this was actually wrong.
No, this is Chuck's.
This is Chuck's.
That's not Chuck's. That is Blaine
This
Newport.
is Chuck's.
That's not Chuck's.
This is Chuck's.
Right,
This
but the
is the one
lines
he
on
sent
here,
me.
the editing with the
one he sent
lines,
me.
that is Blaine
This is the
Newport.
one he sent me. No,
Is it?
Chuck put the 1 2 3 3 2 1 4.
Oh,
Chuck put
because
that
it's
there.
The
He
two
didn't
to the
do
right
line.
are the same. Number 2 and number
Chuck-
3 are not the same.
Chuck did this. Chuck put the
I'm
the
telling
numbers.
you.
1 3
Okay.
3 2 1 4. He put those on there. He sent that to me.
But there
I
is
sent
4.
it to
That
him.
is correct.
Yeah.
Yes, there's 4.
I'm just saying the 3 is misnumbered.
Well, that's Chuck.
The 3
He
is
did a
misnumbered. What do you
overlay on
mean?
it.
Yeah, those are two
I
different
think
coins.
it's because the picture. I think it's because number 3, the photo is blurry.
Yeah, well, what it points to is the fact that the coin that I showed you all in my shorts, and I have
Yeah.
that here. And there was something that happened, and Paul informed me of this. Let me bring this over. Oops.
Yeah, 3 and 6 are the same.
When you look at, Eric is right. What is that? Oh, Mike says, okay.
That's Chuck's, you guys. So
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I
I'm sure it was a clerical error. He knows there's only 4.
I will not argue with Chuck. That's for sure.
So when we look at this, one thing that I found is that, number one, I've got to move stuff higher. I've got to leave that little bottom area free of any area that is identified here, because it actually blocks. And if I zoom in, it totally hides. So depending upon what your view is, so that points out something that I need to do in my shorts, because Paula couldn't see the details well enough to actually say this is what's going on. But when you look at this particular coin, what you may not see is that this D took a hit. And so it makes it look like something else because of the hit that was taken to this particular coin.
Yeah.
So it's important that not only do you look at the position, but you also look at the hits that could be there, any kind of damage associated with this, because that may make it look like a different item. I'm putting out that short today, the one that dispels this and shows you which one, so you'll be seeing that shortly. Apologize for that. I just got a new subscriber. Thank you. It doesn't show up on the list, but I appreciate you being here. Sanja, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you coming in. Smog Dog Gaming, how are you? Hope you're well. But again, when you look at these types of things, and we'll have to look at this because I see what he's saying here. There's the actual.
I just think
graphic.
I think what you're seeing is the size. If you look at the date size on those photographs, I think what you're seeing is that one of the photographs is the date is a little bit more zoomed in than the other one.
It doesn't matter. There's only 4.
Yeah.
There's only 4.
Yeah, no matter
We'll
what.
double check this graphic and get this back to you. Sorry about that.
Only 4. Correct.
Yeah, we'll double check this and get this back with you. But the point is, the whole point I wanted to make in this was that do your research. When you find something, go look other places. And when you start to see, Manuel, thank you for the subscription. That's the one that came through. Appreciate it. When you look at these items, trust but verify, right? It doesn't matter where you go, right? Because we all make mistakes, and whether it is, somebody multitasking or somebody putting stuff out there, it's important to double check your information, right? And this is why it's a community of people. We want to make sure that we get together and we talk about these various things. And if you see something, and again, we talk about various channels. There's a channel, 200,000-300,000 people, who shows a graphic of 5 coins, and one of the coins is a counterfeit coin. It's actually not, and they talk about there being 5 of them instead of there being 6 of them. But what they didn't understand is that the graphic that was designed for that particular one was showing a single counterfeit coin against the 4 known mint mark locations. And so people can take what they believe an image should be or what they believe something is, and without validating and verifying it, they start talking about it. So be very careful when you look at this. And I won't do much more of that on shorts because I don't want to mislead people. But I do want to do another clarification. So let's do this. Paula, let's talk about the lamination.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Can I go get some coffee first?
Please go get some coffee. And while you're
Okay,
getting
I'll
your
be right
coffee,
back.
I will actually frame the discussion. And this is something that we talked
Good morning,
about
everybody. By the way. I'll be right
just prior to coming on. If your mom says she loves you, get a second source. That's asking for a fight, brother.
That's deep.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and I did a short, and on the title of the short, actually, let me pull it up. I did a title of the short, and when I did the title, I put down that it was a retained delamination. And Paula sent me something saying that doesn't make sense. And we began to talk about the language of, the English language, but we also started talking about language when it comes to numismatics. And regardless of what the element is, and I'm trying to find this.
Pesky numismatic language.
Well, but it's not. How do I say this? Language, the English language in general, can be very fickle. And we use words because, one, maybe there's not a better word, or we use words that are created or understood because it's the best way for that person who's doing that at that time. This could be 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, whatever. The person who did that at that time, it was the best word that they had to describe whatever it was. Right. We find this in the medical field. We find this in the numismatic field. And one of these is lamination. Lamination, delamination. And this is a discussion that Paul and I were having that apparently is something that has been discussed and argued over for quite a while. Decades. And the short that I did, and I'm trying to pull this up, so bear with me as I do this.
Good morning, everybody.
The short that I did called for, where am I? Is it? There it is. Oh, that's why I'm not even.
If your mom says she loves you, get a second source. Mike. By the way, can I just say I am super excited today because I get to do another video with Jack Young, and I'm so excited.
Awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so here's the video. There we go. All right. So Mike and Jack may be like, yeah, Frosty, that's not correct. But the reason, and we talked about this, so as we look at the language of the term lamination or delamination, you have to put into context what you're looking at, the medium that you're looking at. In this particular case, we're talking about coins.
Going out? Okay.
Now, the example that I utilized in this was that if you want to talk about the peeling or the separation, I used an ID card or your driver's license. And just like when you get some material or an air pocket or some improper whatever it is in that particular laminate, that will start to delaminate. And that delamination can show up as a peel. It can show up as a like a fold of whatever that is. And I was just utilizing it as an example. And while the idea of it is correct, the terminology for numismatics is wrong. Because
Well, yeah. I mean,
delamination in this particular case is when that lamination falls off, when it is totally separate, when it is totally disparate of that coin's surface. So if it's not there, that's the delamination. So you can't have a retained delamination. Whereas my thought process in that was different because I understand lamination, metals being folded, stuff like that, the multiple layers. When those layers come across, those layers are delaminating. It happens when you look at creating knives, when you look at folding metal for architectural structures, or when you're looking at folding metals or making tools for surgery implements. So when you have a piece of that metal that starts to come away from that, it's delaminating, right? So in numismatics, this term delamination means something different. And I didn't fully understand that.
Yeah, it's a crap term.
It's, well, and again, it's not a crap term. It's just a different use of the
For this.
language.
It's a
And it's
garbage
important that
term.
you understand this. So
Yeah.
when we talk about this, it's and I told them it's like reuptake or reabsorption. Well, once it's been absorbed, it can't be reabsorbed. Because you can't tell me for a fact that the information that gets put out. Mike, yeah, so well, he's going to be, yeah. Thanks, Mike. He says, "Can I play devil's
No.
advocate?"
It wouldn't. No.
Delaminated,
That
struck
would be
through.
called a retained lamination or a struck through
Struck through lamination.
lamination.
Yeah. So again, but here's the whole purpose behind this is, folks, I'm learning just like everybody else. But what's important in this is, and I'm not taking this one down because it's not wrong, but it needs to be discussed. So what I am going to do on this one
It
is I'm
kinda
going to
wrong.
pin something. It's not wrong.
Sorry.
What I am going to do is I'm going to pin a comment on this and explain why this isn't a retained delamination.
Well, can I play here for a minute
Fire.
and say and just say why it's wrong, why I say it's wrong? Because the example used in this short is a screen protector or something peeling off of a layer, it is not a layer. It's not a layer. It has nothing to do with layers, nothing like that. Lincoln Cents, prior to, well, halfway through 82, are an alloy mix. They are not layered. They start out as a metal that's mixed. It becomes an ingot, and it gets rolled out thinner and thinner and thinner. It goes through different sized rolling things, and it gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. It's an alloy mix. When you get impurities in that alloy mix, or an improper alloy mix, too much, we talked about the too much tin prior to 63, too much tin in the mix. That's where you get the lamination.
Okay, so let me ask, before you go on, let me ask you a question. When that lamination occurs, is that now a layer within that coin?
No.
So you're telling me that it's solid? It's not. It's separating.
It is solid.
No, it's separating. And this is where
well, okay. It doesn't always separate. It can crack. So it is the same. It is So yeah, you can get a lamination separation. You can get a
Right.
split planchet. That's when the planchet splits in the horizontal plane, right? But that is not a layer. That it doesn't have anything to do with it being layered. It's an alloy mix. It is woodies and lamination errors go hand in hand. They are both improper alloy mix. They are caused by an improper alloy mix or a contaminant in the alloy.
That's correct.
Okay, you
Right.
can get blowholes. You can get fissures, but those are not they're not layers. It all depends on where along the what plane it comes it peels
Now, that's the
and
good
how
word
deep
right
it
there.
is and
So
how thick it is. Lamination is a crap terminology.
it
It is
is,
a term
yes.
in numismatics that never made any sense, that is just an accepted term that they have kept because it people recognize when you say lamination, they recognize the error. Lamination, it's just not a good term. But like I said, there's no way to get rid of it now. It's been used for so long that it's just an accepted term. Same with clipped planchet. Clipped planchet is incorrect also. Incomplete planchet is the correct terminology. Clipped planchet, that planchet is not clipped. The metal sheet that it comes from is clipped, but the planchet's not clipped. You can get a strike clip, and that is actually clipped, but the clipped planchet's not correct either. So there's terminologies that we use that are just accepted terms now.
And that's the point that I want to make in this is that, and you can argue that um, it's not right. You can argue the thing is, and this is where I will stand by my understanding of metallurgy and laminations, because even when you're folding a billet, which is a single source metal, and that starts to come apart, it's called a lamination. Now, that has multiple layers that are folded in it, but it's still the single same
These are
alloy
not
mix.
folded though. These are not
No,
layers folded.
but the rolls are. When you create the rolls
No,
that
they're
they're put into
not.
sheets.
Yeah, when they start as an
Yes,
ingot,
they
they
are.
fold
No,
them the
Eric,
first few
you're
times.
not correct about that. It starts out as a single ingot and it just gets rolled and rolled and rolled and rolled until it's thinner and thinner. It doesn't continue to get folded over. So I think that may be where you're getting mixed up. Sorry, I don't mean to raise my voice, you guys. I really
Did
don't.
you raise your voice?
I know
I'd
it
hate to
sounds
hear
like
you
I'm
yell.
yelling and raising my voice. I don't mean to do that.
Where I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I know, but it comes across wrong, bad, and I don't want to come across bad. I see where you guys are. I understand what you're saying and stuff, but I think that may be where there's a disconnect. Is
But
that these sheets do not get they just get rolled out, and then they go through they go it gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner the more it gets rolled out. It doesn't continue. It's not a pastry dough.
the whole purpose behind this, the whole purpose for having this discussion is this is what has to happen in numismatics. Not everybody's going to agree. Not everybody can agree on damage. Not everybody agrees on certain varieties. Not everybody agrees on the terminology for mechanical or ejection doubling. Not everybody agrees on a lot of these things, but the discussions are what have to happen. Okay. And yeah, and so, but again, here's the thing. I'm not telling Paula she's wrong. I'm telling Paula that as my understanding, right? I'm a fairly educated guy. My understanding of the term of that, it doesn't make sense to me. So when they utilize that, it's a really poor word. And that's
Yeah,
all
it
it
shouldn't make
is.
sense.
It's just a very
Yeah.
poor word. Now,
It is.
as far as correcting numismatic misconceptions, I'm not saying Paul is wrong in this. I'm just saying when we talk about the definition, we look at this, there are certain things that we don't have to agree with. I'm not telling her she's wrong. So what do we have to do here? Well, I shouldn't say what do we have to do. What do I have to do? What is on me at this point? And that's to go do more research and come back and do one of two things. You know what? You're absolutely right. Or here's an example. This is what happens. This is the information. This is what happens in this. As that blank, as those metals are put together and they're heated up and they're turned in. Even when you're looking at pouring silver, right? Silver doesn't pour in a uniformed item; it folds over itself. So even when you're pouring silver metal, doesn't matter what the metal is. Well, as you pour that into its initial form, it's folding over itself. It's just the way it is. But I need to know more about this to be able to say that 100% unequivocally.
These are poured into solid ingots that get rolled out just thinner and thinner and thinner. Like I said, it's not like a pastry dough.
Right.
It just gets thinner. It gets rolled out until it is the thickness that it is intended for that denomination.
Right. And as that gets rolled out, those little gas bubbles or impurities come to the surface. And they may form as
it can happen. A lamination can happen prior to the strike. It can happen during the strike. It can happen after the strike.
Yeah. So again, when you're talking, so this is where I can speak from a metallurgical standpoint of, we dealt with a lot of people and you get with Big Red, get with Kevin, get with Angry Warrior, get with all those folks, those people who pour metals. When you pour that metal, number one, the metal cools at different. Here's the whole thing. I'm way too in the weeds for the topic of conversation, because I'm going to the micro level of what's happening when you actually are pouring that ingot. So there are levels in metal, right? We know that. But the point is, exactly, Mike, that's exactly the point. We have to have the discussions. So does it matter if I'm wrong and Paul is right? Yes, it does. Because now it's on me as an educator to make sure that I'm sharing the proper information. What happens if we're both right? It happens. We're both right. The discussion is what matters. And Paul and I have talked about this. There are things, Paul and I don't see eye to eye on certain things, and that's fine. It is what it is, right? Eric and I don't see eye to eye on certain things. So that's fine. It is what it is. But what does come together is the fact that our intent, what we're here for, is all the same, right? And how we get there, most of the time, we're going to get there at the same wavelength. We will have discussions, and it's funny. I should go live one time and just let me and Eric and Paula talk like they don't even know that we're live and we're just talking. Because some of the best freaking conversations, we talk over each other, we argue with each other, we explain our points, and then we all come together. And in the end,
I never argue.
Great.
Neither.
But what's fun about this is, and why I want to bring this, is it's not the fact that a mistake was made or a misunderstanding of the terminology was made. The important piece here is the discussion that's happening. We need these discussions, right? And so what causes split planchet Derek strike?
Well, you get a split planchet is either before the strike or after the strike. A split planchet can happen, I suppose, as the coin's being fed into the chamber or fed out of the chamber, but technically it would still be considered a split before or split after. Same thing, Jack. Same thing. And if you look at one of those from a side point of view, you will notice that it is not a flat plane. So you can see that it is not a solid layer that has split. There are different levels. And it's a contaminant. It's an improper alloy mix or a or a contaminant in the alloy mix.
A layman's term would be you're baking a loaf of bread and there's some water or moisture inside.
Yeah, you can
What
get
happens?
moisture.
It
You can
splits
get
the dough
very,
apart, makes a big bubble inside of it
yeah.
because it's different. It's a different composition.
But lamination is just a horrible term, and I don't want you guys getting caught up in that. I am a kind of a stickler for terminology. Everybody knows that I am, but in certain cases like this, don't get caught up in the term. It's more important that you understand how the error occurs than what the word means.
Yeah.
Or what, don't argue about, like, because you will see it continue. If you study errors enough and you watch people talking about it, you will see people always arguing, well, laminate flooring, they'll bring up laminate flooring is layered and is put together, like, glued together. It's strips of metal or whatever, strips of wood or whatever, glued together. And so they get this in their head that is what's going on with a lamination on a coin, and it's not. That's more what happens with, like, clad coins, a split clad layer. So it can be very confusing with people, and I absolutely hate the term lamination. But everybody knows what you're talking about when you say it, so it just is going to be used probably until the end of time. Just
And
like clipped planchet. Everybody knows what you mean when you say clipped planchet.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line in this, right? And so again, it's being right when you have terminology. And I have this argument in the medical field all the time when it comes to, reabsorption or reuptake. Regarding, well, in order for you to be able to say reuptake, it has to be the exact same material. Any other materials being absorbed for the first time. So it can't be a reabsorption if that material is brand new. And so they're just words because, again, when the person who is defining this, when the person, Eric is trolling Paula. Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. The whole point in this is that the person who created the terminology, whenever they created it, was the best word for them at the time. And so
I didn't even notice that.
Didn't even notice what?
My picture, obverse lamination cleaned.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
I thought that's why you put that up there.
No, it was up before you even logged on.
It was up there before we even started to discuss. Yeah. He had that up there before you came on this morning. But again, what it is it's about having discussions, right? And understanding, because, and Paula and I have talked about this for a long time. Paula is pretty set in her ways. Well, guess so am I. But
no.
Paula and I have had conversations, and I'm like, look, this is what's going on. And she's like, I understand your point, but until you can show me something that will sway me towards another mean or another end, I don't have enough information to change my stance on this. But I've seen people give Paula the right information and back it up, and she's changed her stance on it. And so that doesn't happen if you don't come to the table and have discussions. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, the reason I wanted to do this is it's not that it's right, it's not that it's wrong, it's that the discussion has to happen so that we have an awareness of why it is the way it is. And sometimes, and I don't remember who did this, Paula, you're going to have to correct me on this one or direct me on this one. The mechanical doubling, it's like the person who created that says, I screwed up. I should never have called it that.
That was Alan Herbert.
Alan Herbert. Yeah,
that's right.
And so
he used the term strike doubling, and
and
like,
so
that was a bad choice of word.
But again, it's the best thing that they had at the time that they were trying to explain what was going on. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just sometimes the definition, sometimes our understanding, sometimes we get a piece of information that we didn't have before, and sometimes we just get smarter. Right. And so sometimes in explaining things, our terminology, our language is going to change. And how does that get distributed? Well, by talking about it. And so the whole purpose behind doing this is to remind people that it's forums like this. It's opportunities where we get together. It's, me doing something totally separate and then coming back and bring it to you guys and then going, "Oh, I wish you would have talked to me about this first. I could have helped correct this for you." Yeah, yeah. Um,
Good morning,
and
Big Flip.
it is, hey, Big Flip, good morning. It's really important. Good morning, Pedro. Speaking of Pedro, you'll see that I have the Wounded Warrior Project hat there. This came from
Yeah. It's
Vote for
happening this coming
Pedro.
weekend, right?
That is next weekend.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys go check that out. I wanted to present that there. Pedro sent that to me for my help on the item and doing some stuff for John Howe. So, um, but that is next weekend. So please make sure that you are over there supporting that. I got words from a couple people that there are some like really, really nice numismatic items in this particular set.
I
So,
bet there are. And I attended for a few minutes at a benefit auction last night for Joe and Diane Durbin. And let me tell you that that the tribe did an amazing job last night.
I
And they
saw
had some
very few
amazing
minutes of that.
donations for that too. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I
by
don't
the
know how
time I
much they
got
ended up
home,
making,
I
but
I took a shower and went to bed. I was hammered yesterday.
I don't know how
Um,
much they ended up making, but they did a great job. So yeah.
yeah, I hated to miss that. Unfortunately, like I said, yesterday was graduation day, and by the time I got done, my energy level was -5.
I love that hat you got there.
So I'll get
I'm a hat gal.
say again.
I said I love that hat you got there. I'm kind of a hat gal. I like hats.
Yeah, I was very happy. I've got the veterans gauze too. I'm going to be adding a couple things to that, but so yeah, you guys want to
500
make
plus
sure.
lots. Holy moly, Pedro.
Oh, it's yeah. There's a lot of stuff. A lot
I
of
did
stuff.
get a great hat, Mike. I sure did.
I need a
Love
great
that
hat, Mike. Just saying.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, anyway, I was unable to attend um, the benefit for Joe and Diane. Actually, didn't even know about it until after I had got home. And
I wasn't able to stay long, but I just popped in.
I didn't
and
even
said
know
hi.
about it.
yeah, so I got I can do that. I
I
would
never
really
know where I'm
appreciate it, brother.
welcome anymore.
But yeah,
AZ
it's
Coins, can I just say something to AZ Coins real quick?
yeah.
So AZ Coins, you probably will know exactly what I'm saying when I say it. 1945S, Micro S, Mercury Dime, 1907, Philippines. Is it a 1 centavo? 1907S, Philippines. I think it's the 1 centavo. Look at the mint mark on those. They'll match. Just saying. And then the micro S on the Morgan dollar. What year is that? 1903 or something. Look at the Barber quarter on that. Barber quarter. Anyway, sorry. You probably 1903. 1903S. Look at the Barber quarter for the Morgan dollar. 1945S micro on the Merc dime. Look at the 1907 Philippine. 1907S Philippines. Same mint mark punch. They inadvertently grabbed a mint mark punch because we did the 1907 Philippines coins. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. I know. I apologize. I just want AZ knows what I'm talking about.
There is an interesting video about mint mark punches out
I
there
think AZ knows what I'm talking about. I think.
about how they manufacture them themselves, and they have them all. They're in
Yes.
like a little cup. They've been there for
Yes.
years and years and years. They're still there.
Yes. And so with the Morgan dollar, it's kind of, that's kind of a guess that they get there. They're kind of guessing where that mint mark punch came from, but they have done some studies on it and research on it, and they believe it is the same mint mark punch as used on the Barber quarter. But on the micro S for the 45 mercury die, they know that came from that mint mark. And if you go look at it, them side by side, you'll see there. Anyway.
Hey, can I show you something real quick?
I can, AZ. I can. Yes. I can.
This has nothing to do
know,
with anything else.
I have this random stuff that is stuck in my head that I can't get out.
You see this pen?
Isn't it?
But one thing you guys will know is when I talk about stuff from the minting process, I'm not just grabbing things out of thin air. I can promise you I have done a lot of studying on the minting process. I can promise you that. I'm not going to lead you guys astray.
Oh, I completely agree with that. Paula, do you see this pen?
I do.
Okay. You know why I like this pen?
That's a cool pen.
Got a spinner, fidget spinner on it.
It's got a fidget spinner. Shut the front door.
Isn't that cool?
Where did you get that?
I got it from
that was a segue. Micro S to fidget spinner.
The fidget spinner. Well, that's, anyway. That's the ADHD kicking in there.
I just found my pen. I was like, oh, I'm so happy I found my pen. I was wondering where it went. It was underneath my keyboard.
Well, I have a fidget spinner from Big Flip somewhere around here.
I have a fidget spinner from Big Flip too. It's sitting on my my wall of stuff.
Yeah, for sure, AZ. Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to say that I was lurking, but I might have been lurking. Anyway. Might have been lurking in somebody's stream. I might do that from time to time.
She says might, but she does that a lot.
I do it a lot. Well, there's certain places that I know I'm not welcome, so I don't say anything. I just sit back. I don't say anything.
You know what's funny is when you're a member of a channel you can't stand.
I am not everybody's cup of tea. I'll be the first one to tell you that. I know that about myself. If you are my friend, you are an amazing person because you can tolerate just about anything. That makes you an amazing person if you can be friends with me. Because I am not, I have a heart of gold, and I'll give you the shirt off my back if I'm wearing a bra. But
I was about to say, I hope Ray's not here. Here comes the puns.
But I am not everybody's cup of tea, and I know that. I do. I pray for myself all the time.
I pray for her too.
God
she needs all the
me.
prayers she can get.
Yeah, I do need the prayers, please. I do. Easy, you sicko. Anyway, but listen, I don't have a lot of real friends.
Sure you do. You just don't realize it.
Well, I do. I used to have more than I do now, but it's okay. I thought they were my friends. Anyway, let's change the subject. Can we get back to coins? Yeah. Let's get back to the coins. And yeah, Frostbyte pulled a fast one on you guys with that 14D.
So, well, but I did it for a reason, and so I was in a channel, and I'm not going to do this, and I don't. I try to do what I can to help you, in coins.
Yes.
And so, when I was in this channel, and I saw this, I'm like, you know what? I had just made the mistake of posting the Jefferson dime, right? And I was like, oh, that's funny. And well, I mean, I took the image from somebody else. I didn't even catch the fact that it said Jefferson instead of Roosevelt. I also messed Mike up when
Didn't say
saying
Richmond.
well, I didn't mess. I messed Matt up by saying that Roosevelt was a. Was it Roosevelt? Those. Hold on. Which
People
one is
call
it?
the Ike dollar Roosevelt dollar all the time.
Yeah, but there was another one that they weren't a president, and trying to remember which one that was. One of the U.S. coins, the person's not a president. I'm trying to remember which one that is. Yeah, I think it's Franklin. Yeah, there you go. Because we talk about the half dollar, so we included all the denominations. Yeah, that's right. So, but anyway, I was in this channel and, trying to find ways to help you. And in looking at this particular video, I found that it's like, well, this isn't right, right? They're giving bad information. And it's like, well, the problem with looking at these things is that if we don't double check and look over people's information and tell them that they're wrong, or give them the reason why that information is wrong, especially when the only thing you see online is this 6 coin graphic talking about the 6 mint marks of the 14D. Then how is anybody ever going to realize that this is not a good thing? And so I'm glad that Paula reached out and she said there's only 4. I was like, yes, I do know there's only 4. I'm hearing myself in your thing again, Paula.
In mine?
Yep, or it's Eric. Somebody I can hear it.
Mine's not mute. I don't have any sound on.
Okay, is that better? Is that better?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm not hearing myself now.
Okay, sorry.
But it's one of those things where it's like it was an opportunity for people to look at something. But what I won't do that again, primarily because if you don't know, you're going to think that that's accurate, and I won't do that again. I did have a purpose behind it. I just wanted to show people that you need to make sure you're going to multiple resources in order to do that. So, hey, coins making sense. Good day. Look, you see anything?
Well,
look at
I
this.
thought I was missing something too. So I had seen that same graphic with the 6 mint mark positions, and I messaged Chuck and I was like, is there something new that I don't know about? Like, did they find 2 new two new die pairings? And he said, not that I know of. And so he went and he did overlays on that graphic and said,
yeah, that
nope,
graphic was generated through the Copper Coins forum, the old Copper Coins forum. I just went and tried to find it on there, and he's got the forum pulled off the website now.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see it's CCF, and I'm trying to remember who that is.
CCF is Coin Community Forum.
Oh, I thought it was Copper Coins forum. He used to call it CCF also.
Coin Community. Oh, somebody's tummy's growling. Maybe it was mine. I'm hungry all the time. Ridiculous.
Was that from your medication or?
Yeah, I'm sure it's, listen, don't take care of your thyroid. It's a pain.
Can you take care of it? I mean,
well, I can't anymore. Mine's gone.
Right. I'm just saying, is that something you can say, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. So
I don't think so. I think if it screws up, it screws up. It's nothing you can do about it, but whatever. Listen, anyway. And I love to eat. I think it's more, I have always been able to eat whatever I wanted. I've always had super high metabolism, been able to eat whatever, and been like I've had to try to gain weight. And I think as you get older, things change. And now I can't eat everything I want to eat. And
yeah, I think that a lot is old age. I mean, I can't eat anything like I used to.
That's right, Mike Noodle. That's right. And if you're if you really are, this is so, I just want to give a little piece of advice, friend advice. If you're friends with people, if they're doing something that you don't like, tell them right away. Don't let it build up, and because that's not fair to the person. That's why I say I am a really good friend, because if you're doing something that's bothering me, I'm going to tell you because I love you. Yeah. I'll tell you, Mike. I'll tell you to your face or behind your back. What are you looking at, Frostbyte?
I'm listening.
Are you looking? Oh, gotta drink my silver. Drink your silver.
Colloidal silver, most likely.
No. Really? Doesn't that turn you blue? Or is that something else?
I don't know.
Oh, that silver. What do they call it? There's gelated silver or something like that.
I don't know. You have corrected me, and I appreciate it very much, Mike. I sure do.
Well, but here's again, we talk about this all the time. We're all human. We're all fallible, right? And
That's right. If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning.
Yeah, or you're not trying, right? But again, it's not about making the mistake. It's about what you do after the mistake that matters. So, do you try to improve yourself? Do you try to learn from that? Do you try to not replicate that mistake again? Do you dig into trying to understand the premise of how you were led to that? Like this discussion with lamination, right? I've got history with laminates, and I don't mean laminate flooring. I'm talking about metal laminates. And so I understand something totally different that's not conducive to coin talk.
You and me both.
And so when we talk about this, we learn. And sometimes it's, and I hate this because I'm a process improvement guy. We do this just because it's the way it's always been done. But unfortunately, in this hobby, there are some things that are like that. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great thing, but it's just how it's always been done. But doesn't mean the language can't change. And just because, it is what it is. But somebody got a puppy yesterday. Hey, Coach, what's going on?
I saw that.
What kind of puppy did you get?
The kind with puppy breath. I love puppy breath. Somebody said if a puppy has puppy breath, though, it means they have worms. I don't think. Is that right?
I never heard that. My dogs have had puppy breath their whole life. One of them is 12 years old, and she's still got puppy breath.
Aw.
What do you mean by puppy breath?
Dog breath, bad breath.
No. Yeah, well, I mean, it could be issues with their teeth. There's a whole bunch of reasons that they could have that.
Yeah.
What's up, Miss Coin Crew? Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a blue healer. Oh, very nice.
Oh, I love it.
Very nice.
They're herding. It's a herding puppy.
That's very cool. Well, what do you guys have going on today? I can tell you what we're doing. Absolutely nothing.
Church and Jack Young. That's what I have going on today.
Nice. So we're going to have another live coin Q&A special, huh?
We are. Yes. And this topic has become quite the popular topic. And I cannot say that I am disappointed to see that, because I'm not. The more people that talk about it, the better. So Jack doesn't like to do lives. So we'll be doing the same thing we have done in the past. We'll be doing a video, and then editing that, and then it will put it out as a premiere. And I don't think it's that he doesn't like to do lives. I think it's just that he wants to have something in a professional format, because so we can edit bad stuff out, because we get kind of goofy sometimes together when we're doing our videos. So Amanda has to do some editing. But he's been attaching those live streams to his articles. Yes, structured. Thank you, Jack Riley. He's been attaching them to his articles for reference. So we have to be kind of professional.
Yeah. What's that?
I know. AZ, we usually release them on Tuesdays, so we will be recording it today and probably releasing it Tuesday. So just click the bell on the channel and you'll get notified. But him and I are in the chat when we premiere it, so that you guys can ask questions and stuff, or you can chat with us. And
in just a note,
but
if
yes,
you hit the bell, sometimes you have to go in and hit the bell again, because YouTube will unsubscribe you or unnotify you for no apparent reason at all. So if you're not getting notifications, you probably have to re-hit the bell.
It is true.
Yep,
for some reason,
fact.
I have to do that continuously on copper coins.
There's one other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I just was going to say that we are going to be reinitiating our live streams again. We are thinking probably Thursday nights now. We won't be doing them on Monday nights anymore. We're thinking maybe Thursday nights. We're trying to come up with a good day where we're not interfering too much with a lot of other people that are doing educational stuff. So, but we are also now taking email submissions again. So if you guys have questions, you can email us. And if you notice, we're starting to do videos on email submissions.
I saw that.
Yeah. So if you send us a coin that we think has good educational content or whatever that could be good for education, we will make a video on it. You can start spamming us at info@livecoinqa.com, Mike Noodle. And I will just put you in the spam folder. No habla inglés.
Nice, Pedro.
We have a problem people folder, Mike Noodle, just so you know.
I'm in it.
That's what I say. I'm in it.
Yeah, Frostbyte and Eric are both in it.
So I shared this with you guys.
It's just because I have a problem.
So I want to share this with you guys, and I've talked about this before. I want to push these guys again. I got to have a conversation with them the other day talking about stuff that I can do to help support these folks. This is the Anti-Counterfeiting Education Foundation. And so I know that there are people in this chat who have worked with them very, very closely over the years. And they're doing a lot of stuff. So just pay attention to this. Go check out this site, look at stuff. I was introduced to a couple of the people over there and was able to have a really good conversation with one of the folks over there. And so go check them out, support them. I've told them that I will call them out on my live streams. And I'm going to put a link to them in my description moving forward. So but just go check them out. A lot of good information. They're doing a lot of cool stuff over there. And Chuck was supposed to give me some information, but he didn't give it to me. They are going to be doing another Coins and Coffee Hour, where they
Mhm.
are going to be going through him and Coins and Ghouls are going to be going through and having some coins. They're going to be looking through rolls for bulk submission, talking about some of the items. So be watching the copper coins again, as Eric stated earlier. Make sure you're hitting the notification bells and you're turning those notifications on, because if I like going to the reveals, but that coffee and coins hour is a great way to learn a little bit
Uh-huh.
about grading and looking at the coins and understanding um, what is happening. You can ask Chuck questions. They will go through. They will give you, methods on how they do that. It's a lot of fun, so you definitely want to go check that out. What are you guys going on this weekend, Mike? What do you guys have happening this coming week?
Oh, yes. And if you guys did not see Matt and Mike's podcast where they had Randy L. Teton on there,
that was a good
you
one.
need to go watch that. I'm going to say it again. I'll say it a million times, so I'm blue in the face. That interview with her was fantastic. Matt has bronchitis. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
She was the model for the Sacagawea dollars. So,
and she has an uncanny ability to keep you engaged.
Oh, I told
Really
you. Yes,
Yeah.
she's amazing. And they just did a great job too. I mean, I would have been like so tongue-tied, but
Yeah, that was one of the best interviews I've seen of that sort.
Yeah, so great. So great.
And again, a really interesting tidbit on that. She is the only living person to be on a coin.
Yes.
So it's always cool to see and
US
hear
coin.
US coin. Yeah.
Well, I can't, but you guys in blue can.
What is it?
I know, and we did a new Facebook group. It's a counterfeit Q&A Facebook group. So you guys should go check that out too. Jack, you should post a link to that. And there's like 3 rules or 3 questions to answer, and it's not like pass or fail or whatever. And then just agree to the rules. It's a private group, which is smart because public Facebook groups are a nuisance. They really are. I'm telling you guys, if you guys are involved in public Facebook groups, they can be a real problem.
Yes, they can. That's why I'm a lurker.
Especially, yeah, the coin groups, they can be a real problem. And oftentimes they are started by people, and then the person who starts it leaves and never comes back again, and they have nobody monitors them. So
that, or they're started by an armchair quarterback who's doing it because they can get the right answer.
Yes, or they're started by people that have been kicked out of other groups, so they start their own group. Yeah.
So I put that link in there for everybody for the Randy L. Teton interview, Coin Show podcast. That's there. So go make sure you click on that and then bookmark that for later. Yeah, because that was a very good interview.
Hey, Paula, when you get a chance, send me the link to that counterfeit Q&A group. Oh, there it is right there. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, we just started it, so. Well, Jack started it. They let me and Mike in. I made the rules and the membership questions, and that's it. It's gonna be fun though. Oh, there you go. We got Farm Dog and Eric and Frostbyte asking to join? Answer the questions, boys.
I did. I said it's Frostbite.
I did
Follow
too.
Just because we like you doesn't mean we're gonna treat you like special or anything.
Hopefully, I don't have to ask any questions. I can just lurk.
That's right. Listen, that is the best way in those Facebook groups. If you're not going to use them to post coins or ask questions, the best way to learn, first of all, you got to find out who to listen to, because you're gonna see all kinds of people in there giving. Oh my gosh, there was this guy. Holy moly! I thought I was gonna. I'm surprised I'm not bald. There was a guy. There's a Facebook group. If you guys want to be entertained, there's a Facebook group called Coin Identification. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's horrible. But don't ask me why I stay in there. Probably because I like the guy who moderates it, and he's all by himself, and he does the best he can. Yeah, oh my gosh, it's hysterical. Did you see the Vice coin, Jack, that was in there? Quentin, I think the guy's name was. Anyway, I don't know what his name was. It was a made-up name anyway, but he had all kinds of theories about how this coin had. It was hysterical. They come up with stuff. They just make stuff up, and sometimes it's entertaining. I'll just leave it at that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he had a Lincoln cent that was hammered. It had a dime hammered into it. And he had some theories on how that happened. Boy, it was.
That's a good one, Mike. The little tick.
Yeah.
Just ignore the stutter now, right?
You grounded him. Oh my gosh, Mike. No Facebook here. MySpace. I still have my MySpace too, Pedro. What was that guy's name that we were all friends with?
Matt. Was it his name Matt something?
Tom.
That's right.
Yes, Tom. Facebook or MySpace Tom. That's funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Some of the things that people come up with, they can be quite entertaining, and they really they dig in, man. They just there's no
Mr.
no
Anderson.
Was that his last name, Anderson?
I believe it was Tom Anderson.
MySpace. Oh my gosh.
Yep, he had it set up to where everybody did that. In fact, one of the first social media virus worm type things was somebody off of MySpace who created a script that when you went to his page, it made all of your friends his friends, and he had everybody, like, it was crazy.
I was just wondering if my ICQ account was still active.
What is that?
I remember CompuServe.
CompuServe was ICQ was the first basic kind of chat that you could chat back and forth with other people online. They had little groups.
We used to use it. I worked for a company called ACS years ago, and we used to use CompuServe to along with our BBS chats.
IRC is another one. Yeah, IRC was one after ICQ. Then AOL got involved in that chat. I think AOL might have bought ICQ.
I think I was in some AOL chat for a while when the first computer I broke.
Yeah, my
I can-
first computer was a Texas Instruments Sinclair.
I don't even know. I can wreck a computer. I'm telling you. Everybody was friends with Tom. It's true. That's hysterical.
Yeah, I remember
My
maintaining a
state.
BBS. That was what?
BBSs were
early-
cool.
Huh?
BBSs they were cool. They'd have these little teeny games and stuff you could talk about. I was in a couple BBSs.
Yeah, we we maintained an 80 machine BBS for file transfer back when that company was doing stuff for United Parcel, and all of the data coders utilized the BBS to do file transfers and stuff, and that was a
News
lot
groups.
of fun.
I can remember looking up Ken Potter posts in news groups.
Mm-hmm.
He used to post in the news groups all the time. You can still get access to that stuff, and there's people that still actually post in them.
Apple IIe, wow. Keep that. It's probably
I don't know, have a clue what you guys
collectible,
are talking about. I'm
Pedro.
just gonna sit here and drink my coffee.
A TI Sinclair was the predecessor of a Commodore 64.
Listen,
think
I
a
was
Commodore
I
was-
was 35 years old before I ever touched a computer. And that was only because I was in the military and they made me. That's it.
Yeah, I can remember if you wanted to do something cool, you'd buy these magazines and you'd look and they'd have the basic coding and you'd have to type it all in and it would record it on a cassette tape.
They had one of the first ones that I did. It was on a Tandy,
Me either.
and they had a poker machine. It was a poker game, and you had to. It's like 6 months or a year, and they had different aspects of this thing. And after however long it was, you'd have to put this on like 4 or 5 different discs, and then you could code this thing out, and it would create a poker game, a graphics poker game. And it took a long time. I want to say 6 months to put that together, but all that came from the magazines that were released each month.
Yeah, I can remember typing all that stuff in, and then you'd hit run, and it would say syntax error, and you're like, shit, I just typed for like 2 weeks. Then you'd have to go through and you'd say that you put a colon instead of a semicolon. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, or yeah, trying to find the one comma or something.
Yeah.
Or you didn't add a space where there should have been a space. Yeah.
So it took another 2 weeks to debug it. When they came out with the debuggers, that was great. Then it only took a day to find your bugs.
Yeah. Well, Yock Snab, Josh, I don't even know what you just said. I have computer derangement syndrome.
I still can't figure out how to make a JPEG into a PDF.
I am so intimidated by computers.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it. Shay tried to when we were first starting to use OBS. He was trying to teach me how to use OBS, and I was in tears. I just don't. Yeah, I don't care. I've ruined too many computers. They scare me. And they're too expensive, so I don't want to mess with them. I don't want to mess with them.
What is a JPEG? Oh, here, hold on.
Yeah, it's a picture file.
This is what JPEG stands for those of you who don't know. Oh,
Joint
Kevin, you did the same
photographic
thing. Yeah.
group. Oh, there you go. Bye, Cartier. Have a good day.
See you later, Cartier. Have a good day. Well, hey, folks, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up early. Frost just got up. I promised her that I would take her out for an early lunch.
Congratulations, Frost.
Congratulations. Yeah.
He's
Happy
waving.
graduation.
So
have a great day, everybody. Have a blessed Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next week.
Sounds like a plan. And we should be back to normal. So I don't think I'll be taking any time off. So all right, folks. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. All right, y'all. Well, I hope you guys have a a wonderful one. I'm going to go hang out with the family today and do a little bit of stuff around the house, take my Frost out for lunch, and talk about what's happening here in the near future. So I hope you all are blessed. Take care of yourselves. Mike, please do me a favor and let Matt know that we hope he gets better. I know he's got bronchitis. I had to deal with that too. So wish him the best. And we will catch you all later. See you in the streams. And don't forget to check out Wednesday's video. All right, guys. Love you.